Hello, today we're going to demonstrate how to implement a CI/CD pipeline on Google Cloud, but also including functionality similar to Heroku's review app. So quickly to run through how it's working. If you can see on the slide here, a developer commits a pull request, and that pull request triggers a CI server, in this case Google's Cloud Build, to test, build, and push a Docker image to Google Container Registry. And then upon success, the latest Docker image tag based on the commit hash is updated in a manifest, and the build script then updates a configuration repo, a separate GitHub repo, which is being monitored by Argo CD on the Kubernetes cluster. Argo CD detects this change and deploys the latest versions of the manifest to Kubernetes to deploy the application. In this case, if a pull request is created, then a unique review app with a unique URL allowing testers or reviewers to view the latest state of the application. Once the review app is approved, and it can be after multiple commits and back and forth interaction with the test team, then the pull request is merged into the production branch. When the pull request is merged, it goes through the similar CI process, creates an image, and then updates the manifests, but it removes the review app and promotes the code to the production instance. So we'll demonstrate that here in just a moment. And the tools we're going to be using, as implied here, is GitHub, Google Cloud Build, Google Container Registry, Secret Manager, Google Kubernetes Engine, and then some other tools like Kustomize and an open source API gateway from Kong. So the Argo CD dashboard, let me just refresh, make sure everything's current, shows your current state of your infrastructure. And so I have this app of apps pattern, and we won't go into detail on this, but I've explained more in the articles that support this. And then we've got our development application, our production application, and Kong. And so Argo CD has detected those in a config repo and automatically deployed them to Kubernetes. And the demo app dev instance, I'm going to refresh. You can see it says DevOps demo and logo in the URL or in the header. And the production, just demo app, shows the same thing. And if you can see on the Kubernetes GKE or Google Kubernetes Engine, refresh here, it's got Argo CD running, and then Argo CD installed demo app dev, demo app prod, and Kong, which is the API gateway. And then the source code repos, we've got the CI/CD demo app, which is just a static HTML app that we'll be doing a demo today, and then also the cloud build config files, which we'll go into a little more detail later. And then on the config repo, the separate repo to keep the configuration separate, we include the app of apps file that bootstrapped Argo on Google Kubernetes. And what this does is it points to which repo, which is the config repo, and which folder to look for YAML manifest files that Argo will deploy to Kubernetes. Well, the first file is this file that points to the apps folder. So if we go back and we go to the apps folder, this is where we define Kong. And we said, okay, we have an application named Kong, and that's going to be in the Kong folder. And then we have demo app development and demo app production. Now what's unique about these is there's just one demo app folder, but each of these points to an overlay using Kustomize, which allows you to reuse your YAML, but then just inject different values for different environments. So if you can see here, this points to demo app overlays develop. And this points to demo app overlays production. And real quick, we'll look at those. So if we go to the demo app, we have our base folder, and this includes our manifests and this customization file that might inject common namespace and whatnot. But then the overlays will override these values and inject environment-specific information. So for develop, we point to the base folder, but then we want to patch the ingress file and change the host name for demo app-dev, like we would for demo app-prod or demo app. And then we might set common labels and add some annotations and even suffix the name of the applications. So if you recall, when we looked at the applications, you saw demo app-dev-prod. Those are automatically suffixed by the Kustomize config here. And we can override the image tag, which will be important later. So with that, showing you the components, why don't we switch to the development view and just perform a change like any developer would. Okay, so here I am with my IDE, and here's the app repo, as you can see here. And in the source directory, I'm just going to edit this index file, and I'm going to change the logo text at the top and just say new logo, and maybe the header DevOps demo recording. So I've made a couple changes. I've met the requirements, I think, but I'm going to commit my code and push it and see in my development environment if it's up to satisfaction. So I'll just say made demo changes. And I'm going to, I apologize. I was working out a major no-no, so let me go back here and let me discard all my changes. Hold on one sec here. Or we'll just okay, we've made no changes. The reason I did that is we are working out of, let's see here, we'll just discard changes. We have no changes, and I need to be working out of the development branch. So apologies. Okay, in the development branch, which is where we should be working, I'm going to make the change new logo and DevOps demo recording. I save these changes. And made changes for recording. I'm going to push those changes. Now let's switch back and look at Cloud Build, and you'll see that it'll pick up these changes. And now it's running my build. This should only take a few more seconds, and then we'll go over to the Google Cloud Container Registry and confirm that we've got a new Docker image pushed to the registry. Okay, and that's successful. Let's go over and let's refresh. And just now, we've got a new Docker image with the tag FB4EA97. And if we go to Argo, sometimes you can just watch this and you'll see it automatically pick up, but I'm going to, for video's sake, trigger a sync. And it looks like everything's in sync. If we check our workloads and we go to demo app dev, I want to see if it created a new revision, and a new revision is up and running. So let's check and see our development app. And we refresh and we see new logo and demo app, DevOps demo recording. If we refresh the production, there's no change. Now, assume the developer is happy with these changes and says, okay, now I need somebody to review it. I'm going to issue a pull request. So let's do that real quick. So I'm going to create a new pull request, and I'll just use my latest commit message. Okay, and I've created a new pull request. I've got some changes, and I want those in my production instance. So let's switch back. And now Google Cloud Build detects the pull request, and it should trigger the demo app pull request, as you can see here at the bottom. Okay, now once this is successful, the pull request number, I think we're on 7 or 8, I'm not sure which pull request, should be the same tag. There we go, V8. So we have a V8 tag. And then Argo CD, it might have already detected it while we were looking, but I'm going to click Sync Apps. Oh, here we go. Argo CD detected it. And now you can see it's created a review app. And now it's publishing the review app to Kubernetes. And then once we see that these are done, we can go to the Kubernetes dashboard, confirm that it's there, and then also open up a new URL to view our review app. Okay. Let's go to Kubernetes. And if you remember, we had dev and prod. So if I refresh here, I should see a review. So now I have dev, prod, review, and each one of them is in their own unique namespace. So they're completely isolated from each other. And if we go to Argo, and you can see this review app, I can click on this link, and now I can see the review app with the recording and new logo. So now my dev environment has the new logo, my review app has the new logo, but my production environment is still the old logo. So assume everything looks good, we went back and forth, the reviewer approved it, and we want to merge the pull request. So I'm going to create a merge commit. I go back, and if we look at Cloud Build, it's going to detect the merge to master. And if you can see here, the demo app merge trigger is running. Okay, now that's successful. We should see another image created. Here's this image, 76747A. And if we go to Argo CD, I probably don't even need to sync the app. I can just check in our workloads. And if we go to demo app prod, let's just see if we have a new revision. The new revision has not published yet. The last one was before this. If I refresh, we could probably see it, but I'm going to force Argo CD to sync the apps. You can see here, out of sync, demo app production is now progressing. And it's deleting the demo app review. So like the review apps with Heroku, once you've merged your review app into production, then it deletes the review app and gets rid of it. It's a disposable preview of the changes. So as we watch here, it's going to delete the resources off of Kubernetes, and then when it's done, it's disappeared. If we go back to Kubernetes engine, you'll see this review here. If I refresh, it should be gone. And the review app is gone, and now you have dev and prod. If we go to the dev app, we have that there. If we go to the review app, it's gone. And then if we go to production, since we promoted our PR to master, we now have the new logo and the DevOps demo recording. So that's a demo of how to implement Heroku CI/CD review apps on Google Cloud. But one more thing I thought I would add, time permitting, is to show you how you might extend your application. So say we want to add a database, since this is just an ecstatic example. If we go over here, here's an example of adding a Redis database. And so you have some configs, and I'm going to copy these configs, and I'm going to switch back to my dev view. And so I'm going to close the demo app and go into the config and just show you how easy with Argo CD you could extend your application. I'll close that pull request. Okay, so in the demo app, the base folder for my demo app, say I want to add a database. I'm going to add a file that says Redis config and paste those values. Now I switch back and I want a file called redis.yaml. And I'm going to create that file. And I'm just going to paste in the manifest for a Redis pod. And then finally, I need to edit my Kustomize layer, and I need to add a config map generator. So in my Kustomize layer, I'm going to add a config map generator, which will inject those configs into Redis. And then I also want to tell Kustomize to include that redis.yaml file. So that is all I need to do to add Redis database. And this will create a production and a development Redis instance once we commit this, because Argo CD will detect these changes and deploy them. Now, if I wanted only in development, I could have made the changes to the Kustomize file just in the develop overlay, and then I would only have it there. But let's see what happens. So adding Redis database to demo app. And this is the beauty of GitOps, is your source control repository is ultimately your single source of truth for the state of your infrastructure. So if we go back and we look at Argo CD, and if we sync the apps, let me go into demo apps. You can see the components in demo apps. And right now it's got the different revisions, it's got the ingress, the service, the namespace, but there's no database. So let's sync this. Now that it's synced, it's just detected the Redis config and the config map, and it detected the Redis pod. Now if I go to my workloads, I don't have Redis for my application, but let's refresh. All right, so now I have Redis dev. If I go back to Argo CD, eventually it would sync the production, but let's go into demo app production. I don't see the database. Let's sync real quick. Okay, now it's installing Redis in my production environment. I'll go back to workloads. All right, now I have Redis dev and Redis prod, and they're configured with a config map. So this concludes the demo of CI/CD Heroku-style review apps and also GitOps-style infrastructure management using Argo CD. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you.